Windows has a lot of useful tools, but they are not always easy to find. Some are in Settings, some are in Control Panel, and some are hidden behind commands or extra clicks. Wintoys tries to bring many of those tools into one place. In this video, I'll walk you through what it actually does, what I think is useful, where Windows can already handle things on its own, and whether I would personally install it. Wintoys is a free app from the Microsoft Store. It was built by Bogdan Petrosyan, and it uses Windows' own design language, so it looks like it belongs on Windows 11. What it does is collect a lot of tools and settings that already exist in Windows, but are normally spread across different places. It also gives you access to a few things that are not easy to reach through the standard menus. It is not a registry cleaner, and it does not promise to make your PC faster. Think of it as a dashboard where you can find useful settings in one place. To download Wintoys, I'm going to search for Wintoys Windows 11 in the browser. One important thing here, I want to choose the Microsoft Store result because that is the safer and cleaner way to install it. Once I open the result, I'm taken to the Wintoys page in the Microsoft Store. From here, I can download it or open the listing inside the Store app. After clicking download, Windows downloads a small installer. When I open it, Wintoys starts installing through the Microsoft Store. On the first launch, Wintoys shows a short message about helping you control Windows in a safe and time-saving way. The idea is simple. Wintoys tries to bring useful Windows tools into one place. So let's open the app and see what it actually includes. The Help section in Wintoys is where I think a lot of its everyday usefulness lives. Cleanup, repair, and storage maintenance are all grouped in one place. The section worth slowing down for is Cleanup. Let's start with storage. Wintoys lists cleanup items it can remove broken down by type: temporary files, Windows Update files, logs, error reports, the DirectX cache, Defender data, and more. Each line shows its size so you can decide what is worth clearing. Tick what you want, leave what you want to keep, and use the total at the bottom to see how much space you may recover. The other cleanup tools work in a similar way. File Explorer is for Explorer-related items such as history, recent items, and quick access folders. Notice that pinned items are not cleared. Microsoft Store clears the store cache, which can help with some Store app installation or update problems. Here, the app restarts, similar to what happens when you run the ws reset.exe command. Network has an option for flushing the DNS cache, plus several reset options. Some of these reset options may require a restart before the changes fully take effect. Then we have the repair section. Wintoys shows 3 built-in Windows tools: DISM, SFC, and CHKDSK. DISM and SFC are commonly used to check and repair Windows system files and components, while CHKDSK checks the file system for errors. Here I would treat scan as a check and repair as an attempt to repair. These tools can be helpful, but they are troubleshooting tools, not buttons you need to press every day. Next up, we have System Updates, which lets you adjust Windows update behavior. In the drop-down menu, you can select between Default, Security, Manual, and Disable updates. Pressing the Check for Updates button will take you to the Settings menu. Then we have toggles for driver updates, app updates, and driver-related installation components. At the bottom, there are a few smaller tools. Sleeping Pill appears to stop scheduled wake tasks. Graphic Driver Restart can help with some display glitches without a full reboot. Icons Cache Rebuild can help when desktop icons appear blank or corrupted. So that is the Help section. I would not click every button just because it's available, but I do think this page is useful. It gives you one cleaner place to access Windows maintenance, cleanup, and troubleshooting tools. The Apps tab is another section I find useful. It shows many installed apps on your PC, including some pre-installed Windows apps that may not have a normal uninstall option in Windows settings. If you find a built-in app that Windows does not make easy to remove, this is one place to check. Open the 3-dot menu and choose the available action. One important note, Microsoft Edge is a special case. In this recording, Edge does not appear as a normal app I can remove from here. On many Windows 11 systems, Edge is treated differently from regular apps because parts of Windows and some Microsoft apps can depend on Edge-related web components. Also, Edge uninstall behavior can vary by region and Windows version. In the European Economic Area, Microsoft has added more uninstall options because of Digital Markets Act changes. So if your screen looks different from mine, that may be why. Let's take a look at the Tweaks tab. Under Desktop, Wintoys gives us quick toggles for desktop icons like Recycle Bin in this PC. Instead of opening Windows Desktop icon settings, you can show or hide them here with a switch. In the File Explorer section, I always keep file extensions turned on. It helps me see the real file type like .txt, .exe, or .zip. For hidden and system items, I only recommend turning this on when you need it for troubleshooting or system-related work. The Privacy section is useful because it brings several Windows privacy-related toggles into one place, like location, telemetry, app launch tracking, error reporting, and speech recognition. I like having these settings in one place because I can decide how much I want Windows to use for diagnostics, personalization, and recommendations. The Ads section is similar. It collects settings for things like tailored experiences, advertising ID, suggested content and settings, tips, and Windows suggestions. I personally like having finished setting up your device visible here because it controls those setup reminders Windows can show after updates or sign in. The Services tab gives you a cleaner way to view Windows services and third-party services in one place. Here you can see the service name, whether it's running and how it starts, for example, automatic or manual. I would be careful in this section because changing services without understanding them can affect Windows features or installed apps. As an example, I'll search for Print Spooler. From the three-dot menu, Wintoys gives me quick actions like start, stop, restart, browse, search, and mode. The search option opens the browser so I can quickly look up what the service does before changing anything. That is useful because I do not want to disable or restart a service blindly. Back in Wintoys, I can also change the startup mode. For example, automatic means the service starts with Windows, while manual means it does not automatically start at boot, but can still be started when needed. The Performance tab brings together settings that can affect startup behavior, background activity, search indexing, and a few performance-related Windows features. The one I want to focus on here is startup apps, because this is one of the first places I check when a PC feels slow after signing in. When I click Configure, Wintoys shows apps that are allowed to start automatically. Microsoft also lets you control this in Windows settings, but here it is built into the same dashboard. In this example, I'm turning Teams off because I don't need it to launch every time Windows starts. This does not uninstall Teams, it only stops it from opening automatically at sign in. My advice is simple: keep startup enabled for apps you truly need right away, and turn off apps you can open manually later. Below that, Wintoys also shows settings like background apps and activity history. These can affect what apps are allowed to do in the background, so I would change them based on how I use my PC. And here we have search indexing. Indexing helps Windows find files faster, but it also runs in the background. If you rarely use Windows search, turning it off may reduce background activity, but searches can become slower. So is Wintoys worth installing? For many Windows 11 users, I think yes, especially for the Apps tab, Health Tools, and Tweaks. It does not replace understanding how Windows works, but it does reduce the friction for tasks that are normally spread across different menus. It is free, available from the Microsoft Store, and many of its features are built around existing Windows settings and tools. For me, that makes it a useful shortcut, as long as you understand what you are changing. If this was useful, Subscribe to Libritechia for more practical Windows 11 guides. And if there's a specific part of Wintoys you want me to cover in more detail, leave a comment. I'd like to know. Stay reachable, and I will see you in the next one.